Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Lilo and Stitch's house from the movie Lilo and Stitch. In this tutorial, not only will I show you how to make the entire outside of the house, but I will also show you how to make the entire inside as well. I have tried my absolute best to recreate the inside of the house as accurately as I possibly could. However, there are always limitations to this when it comes to cartoon and movie houses. So I have of course had to make some pretty major changes, but regardless, I hope that you guys still enjoy the house. I tried my best. Fun fact, I am hidden somewhere in the intro of this video. Let me know if, where, when and how you found me down below in the comment section. This is the amount of space required to make the build, including a handy grid, which you may choose to copy, that will show you the starting position. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin the build by placing 5 white concrete extending up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then extend to the right by 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Then extend backwards by 1. And then extend this way by 1. To the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend inwards by 1. And then to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. We are now able to extend all the way across the back of the build and join all the way back to where we first started. The end result should be a slightly weird rectangular shape, like this. Next, we are going to return all the way to here, and we will place an additional 1, 2, 3 white concretes extending up from this position. Not only do we want to place 3 white concrete in this position, but we want to come all the way to here and do the same. 1, 2, 3. And here as well. 1, 2, 3. And all the way over here too. 1, 2, 3. Just like this. Next, let's return all the way to the front of the build, over here, and we can add some details to these walls. Start off by placing 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cyan concrete in this position. Place a white concrete on the end. Remove and replace this white concrete with a pale oak plank. Stick an oak door on top. Right of this, place a white concrete. And then place a row of cyan concrete extending all the way over to the right. Next, we are going to work back on ourselves by placing 1, 2 cyan concrete here, followed by 2 glass, and then 2 more cyan concrete. We'll add another row on top of the glass, and then another row of cyan concrete on top of the concrete. Place flipped up and down pale oak trapdoors left and right of the window, with smooth quartz slabs underneath the glass blocks. Place white concrete surrounding our oak door, like this. Then place 1, 2 cyan concrete extending to the left from the door, followed by 1, 2, 3 glass, which we can then extend 1 row upwards, and then we can fill these gaps in using cyan concrete. We are then able to add pale oak trapdoors left and right of the window, and smooth quartz slabs underneath the glass. Then we will place a row of smooth quartz slabs across the top of our doorway like this, connecting from this window to this window, with a row of cyan concrete on top of these slabs, and then we will just place a singular concrete just above, like this. Next, we are going to shift our attention to the right side of the build, where we will place a row of cyan concrete along the top of our white concrete. Then, over here on the left, we will place 1, 2 cyan concretes here in this position, and then extend to the right by 1, place 2 glass, and now we can extend the glass upwards, and we can fill in the rest of these gaps with cyan concrete. Add some pale oak trapdoors left and right of the window, and then smooth quartz slabs underneath the glass. Next, we are going to move around to the back of the build, where we can just completely fill this back wall in using cyan concrete. That then leads us onto our final side, which is this left side, where we can place a row of cyan concrete along the top of our white concrete. Then we will place 1, 2 cyan concrete here on the right, followed by 2 glass, extend the glass up, add cyan concrete left and right of the window, and then we aren't going to add anything else to the window in this case, as the details surrounding the window would be covered up by what we are going to do next. Come all the way to here, and place a row of 1, 2, 3 white concrete in this position. Extend to the right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, forwards by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then extend and connect to the wall, across, and join the corners of the square shape that we have made down. When I say join them down, what I mean to say is extend them down by 2 so that they are equal in length/height to our first initial row. Next, we are just going to fill the base of this shape in with pale oak planks, just to represent the fact that this is meant to be the floor inside of this area. And I don't think that this is a bad time to also fill in the floor of the main house either. So, now that we have filled in our big empty shapes floating in space, we are going to turn our attention back to this part of the house. So, we actually want to extend each one of the 4 corners here up by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we don't even really have to count this anymore, as we can just use our other rows to measure. Perfect. So, on the back of this shape, we can simply just fill this in with cyan concrete. From the bottom to the top. We can do the same thing on the inside row as well. However, on the front here, it's a little bit different. We will connect the top row together like this, and then add 1, 2 glass in this position. Then we can fill the rest of this wall in using cyan concrete, and then add pale oak trapdoors left and right of the window, and smooth quartz slabs underneath. There is another window on this side, although it is much lower. We add a row of cyan concrete here along the base, cyan concrete here, 2 glass here, extend up, and then we can fill the rest of this wall in using cyan concrete. Add some pale oak trapdoors left and right of the window, and then just smooth quartz slabs underneath the window, just as we have pretty much everywhere else. I think that now is a pretty decent time to begin working on the roofs. Let's start here. Place a row of mangrove slabs across the top of the front of what I will call this tower part of the house. We'll do the same with the back also. Extend these slabs off of the side and then extend these slabs inwards and upwards until we eventually connect in the middle. We then add some cyan concrete just underneath these gaps here, and then we move to the opposite side and do the same. We extend these slabs off and inwards and upwards until they eventually reach and connect just like this. We add cyan concrete to cover up these gaps, and then we will connect the mangrove planks together, as every other row will turn into a mangrove plank, and then we will connect these slab portions together in between. And in doing that, we form the roof. So that is one roof taken care of. Now let's turn our attention to the main roof. This one's a bit different. Place a row of mangrove stairs along the top of our window section here. So along the top here and moving through here. We can place mangrove planks behind our cyan concrete here to kind of bridge the gap. Or if you like, you can even just place a row of cyan concrete. Whichever you think might be a better fit. It is actually a little bit of a toss-up on which is more fitting. Anyway, we then want to add mangrove slabs extending forwards from the stairs like so. And we also want to place a row of mangrove slab that extends off of the sides of the upper half of the cyan concrete above the front door, which is a mouthful to say, but I think that you guys can see where we have placed it. We then extend these slabs upwards and inwards until they eventually reach a peak just like this. And then the tricky things with these slabs, and I'm noticing that, okay, so we do have to convert some of these blocks as we start extending inwards into slabs and solid mangrove plank blocks. So just extend all of these blocks backwards until they are even and level. I think that this is the cleanest way to do it, like this. This is also the most tricky part of the roof. Now that we have completed this, the roof is very, very simple, as we are just going to place an additional row of white concrete / cyan concrete along the back of the house, so this is indeed ever so slightly taller, just like so. Then we will place mangrove stairs extending off of the back here, and the goal is to place mangrove stairs extending up and inwards from the front and the back simultaneously. You can kind of see how the side of the roof, it looks a little bit wonky, but this is how it shakes out. We want to place stairs extending up just like this from both sides until they eventually reach in this peak. You will note that the peak is the same as the little roof that we have on top of our tower. And with this roof, we can extend the mangrove stairs and slab off of the side of the roof, just like this. This includes the stairs and slab that we have at the front of the build. And I'm just noticing that we have this area here as well. Well, we actually have to extend these cyan concretes connected to this window all the way up to the very top of the build like this, which further necessitates us to extend the stairs and the slab another row off of the side of the house. There we go. Not only that, we do want to place a row of mangrove slabs across the top of this window as well, and then I think there is smooth sailing from here. So we place upside down mangrove stairs extending all the way underneath the roof, a plank underneath the top, and then we can quite simply just extend all of these mangrove stairs across to the side, And it's up to you whether you want to overhang them and clip them onto here, or if you kind of just want a smooth finish. I think that will look nice to integrate them into the tower, so to speak. I'm just going to place them down this side as well, just to make it a little bit easier. For some reason I keep like going all the way across. Oh, this is something else as well. So I'm noticing that as we extend the stairs in here, we will want to place another row of plank, a slab here, maybe even an additional slab here, just so that everything connects together. It'll be quite intuitive. So yeah, you can see that we extend the stairs across here, and then this block can be a stair. And then this block can actually be a stair as well, my bad. I thought that we'd have to turn that into a plank, but it doesn't matter. And then we can extend this across. Oh, okay, well, a swing and a miss twice. We could have just used stair instead of... I thought that I was getting ahead of it by placing those blocks. I thought that it'd look really clever, having anticipated what blocks we needed. No, it was just stairs the whole time. Sometimes these roofs are a little bit weird to put together, but... there we go. It looks nice and clean once it's finished, and I do realise that we also have to place a stair here, slab here, cyan, concrete here, and a stair there, and we got there in the end. That looks all nice. Let's just have one quick pass over, make sure that everything looks really good, and I dare say that that is the roofs complete. Next, we are going to make the tower that we have extending up from the back of the house. However, it's actually a little bit easier to make your way to the front of the house first. Line up with our mangrove slab above the entrance and come all the way up to the top of the roof. Behind this slab block, we will place a white concrete. We will extend left and right, add a row of cyan concrete on top, and then add a row of mangrove planks on top of that. We will then extend the sides of these blocks 2 rows backwards, so that includes all the mangrove, all the cyan, all the white concrete, just like so. Join them together at the back, and we do not want the middle to be filled in. This is effectively a tube. And then, underneath the white concrete, we'll have to destroy some of the roof for this. We want to place cyan, like this. And underneath the cyan, we will place a layer of white concrete. We can further do this a little bit later on. We can make it all look clean on the inside of the build, but we'll do that when we work on the interior. And then finally, this should be the last row. Underneath the white concrete, we can place cyan. So we just want to extend it down naturally like this in stripes. Next, come all the way up to the top of the tower and place an additional row of mangrove planks all the way around it. On the back of the build, extend the 3 middle blocks outwards, and on the front of the build, do the same, just like this. We then want to place a layer of pale oak slabs extending all the way along the top of our row of planks, just like this. And then we are going to place an iron door here in this position with mangrove planks either side of it. We'll then stick a mangrove stair here and here with a mangrove plank connected above it. Next, we want to move around to the back here and do a similar thing. So we will place a row of 1, 2, 3 mangrove planks just like this with a glass on top of the middle block, planks either side and on top, and then mangrove stairs either side of the plank. Then on the long sides, we will place a row of mangrove planks just like this with a glass block right in the middle, mangrove stairs either side, and then, or rather mangrove planks either side, and then stairs on top. I misspoke. And then on this opposite side here, we will place a row of mangrove planks, glass in the middle, planks either side, and then mangrove stairs on top, just like so. we can place a row of mangrove planks here and here in this position. I think that it would look good if we were to place a layer of slabs along the top of this, like so. However, we remove the middle block, cyan terracotta in there, chain on top, with a pale oak slab, just to make it look a little bit more rounded. I think that that does look good. Then, just underneath the tower, we will place a pale oak fence here and here on the front, one on the side, two on the back, and then another one on the side. So on the front and the back we have two, so one either side of the row, and then on the left and right side we just have one in the middle. Now that we have completed the main house structure, we are going to work on the surrounding porch area. So it's a bit different on each one of the four sides. On the front we will have three rows of pale oak planks that extend forwards in front of the house. On the right side, we extend from the most outward part of the house here, and we have 2 rows of planks. On the back, we also have 2, and on this side, we also have 2 as well. So we are just going to extend all of these rows of planks out of the house, and this will form the actual porch that we can walk on and around the house. Next, we are going to place a row of pale oak stairs in front of our pale oak planks, coinciding with the 3 blocks of the entrance. We can then place a row of white concrete extending to the left, and we want to line up with this corner of the house. We can then place 2 light grey terracotta, just like this, on the end. And then to the right of the stairs, we will place white concrete, extending right, and then back. And then we will extend all the way across the back of the build, just like this. And we will just join here. We can then place a row of pale oak fence directly on top of the white concrete. Next, we will make the staircase that takes us all the way from the house down to the ground, or from the ground to the house, whichever way you want to look at it. So, underneath our 3 stairs here, we'll just place any solid block so that we are able to place 1 more row of stairs, and then 2 more rows of stairs, like this. So there are 3 in total. 1, 2, 3. And then, underneath and in front of these stairs, we want to have 3 rows of 3 pale oak planks, just like this. We can then turn this way and place an additional row of pale oak stairs in front of this, and then we can just connect down to the ground, just like so. We can then place white concrete along the side of the stairs. So this probably looks the cleanest, and we will emulate this onto this side. So on the flat parts, the white concrete is level, and then where the stairs kind of start inclining up, we will start extending the white concrete up as well. That's perfect. We will just place pale oak fence along the flat section of the stairs here, just because I think that that looks best. I don't want anybody to be confused, so I will address this now. I have just had to change the position of my grid. That is because I made my own personal grid wrong. However, if you yourself made the grid shown at the start of this video to the specifications that I showed you how to make it, the size and the starting position as displayed at the start of the video, then you have nothing to worry about. I just wanted to clear the air. back to the tutorial. So now, at the bottom of our staircase, we want to place a stone slab here in this position. And we want to extend to the right of this, aka backwards, by placing 2 stone blocks and then another slab. 2 stone blocks, another slab, and we just want to keep repeating this, extending all the way to the very back of the build. We should end on a slab. We can then extend this very same slab all the way across to this corner of the grid. And then we are going to come all the way over to here, and we want to have the same pattern of slab and stone blocks extending all the way along the right side of our grid, except it's a little bit different as we will extend just one part of the pattern further. It should end up here, kind of like in the middle of these stairs. We also want to extend a row of pale oak fence down to our stone just like this, and on the back of the build we want to have the same as well. We will then remove all of the grass and grid in between these 2 rows of stone, and we will create what is effectively a driveway, really. We also just want to destroy into the stairs, but mainly we just want to have these rows. And we are just going to replace all of this with light grey terracotta. This is actually the best colour match that I could find for what is the road material, I guess you could call it. Or driveway material, I should say. We then want to come all the way over to here, to the corner of the porch, the only other place we have placed the terracotta. We can extend the terracotta 1 row down and 2 rows forward. 1 row down, 2 rows forward. 1 row down, 2 rows forward. And then 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of terracotta, just like this, just so that you can see what this looks like. We are then going to place a row of stone starting from here that extends across and around our terracotta just like this, just all the way up, and this is going to create a wall. We'll do a little bit more with this later, but we also want to place grass like this underneath our rows of floating terracotta that extend across to the right. So we're kind of making a hill. Lilo and Stitch's house is kind of like built up on this kind of really hilly area, just like so. And we also want to extend this grass an additional row inwards, and kind of through onto this side too. So we actually want to build this up kind of like so. Like I said, we kind of want to build like a little hill underneath the house. The main important rows of the hill are here underneath the white concrete here, and this 1 row of white concrete here. Let's just do it. So there is some sort of like trellis of some description kind of like underneath some of the porch. There is a little bit here which we have to use a torch or a lever or something for, so that we can flip this up. There is just one iron trapdoor here flipped up in this position. Notice it is flush with the white concrete. And we then want to have a bunch of it here on this side. So we can, I believe it's in this position, we'll just have a bunch of torches. However you want to activate the iron trapdoors is completely up to you, but I'm just using torches here in this position. And the goal is this, as you can see, which just, this is absolutely perfect. That looks really, really good. And then beyond this, we do also just want to build up some grass or dirt, as is the case. It doesn't really matter, because the house is kind of like on stilts, for a lack of a better term. And it's not really clear what's even under the house otherwise. I've chose to just kind of have it on like this big grass hilly area that kind of just sits inside this sort of space. So just kind of like directly underneath the white concrete of the porch, we just have this big sort of like grassy area, which we'll fill in a little bit later. But also, we have to place some grass here in this position. So extending out from the base of the porch a little bit, all the way to here. Just like so. And the significance of this is for us to dig, or shovel is the better word, a 3x3 area of grass path here. Right in the middle, we place 1, 2, 3 jungle wood on top, jungle leaf on top, extend the leaf outwards by 2 in every direction, and then flare the second blocks down. We're creating kind of a palm tree, and then we will extend the middle block just up by 1, or maybe we'll extend it up by 2, and then the base block just around in every direction. I think that looks pretty good. And then we just want to shovel some grass path here, all the way down to our driveway, which I'm highly considering now extending just an additional row inwards, although I don't know. I think I'll leave it like that, actually. I think that it looks just great how it is. Next, we are going to move ever so slightly further over to the left, and we are going to work on this empty area here. So this area is going to be transformed into a hill and a solid boundary for the build. So first of all, I'm just going to extend these stone blocks backwards all the way to here, and I'll just connect them down for the time being. We also have to extend another row of stone on top of this, and we can actually extend the stone all the way down like so. So we can build up a bit of a wall like this. Up top here, you don't have to add this, but it is correct in terms of the source material. We are able to move through here. We can stick a set of stairs here. And then from the stairs, we will have a pathway that is made out of the same material as the driveway, just extending over to the left. And then at the very edge here, in the source material, we would have more stairs, and it would just go on and on and on into kind of like a jungly looking forest area, but we have to end this build somewhere. So instead, we are just going to have some stairs here. If you like, you don't have to have the stairs, but what we definitely need is some green terracotta boundary. And we actually want to place a layer of green terracotta on this left side of the grid that is the same shape, at least initially, as our stone wall here. So just like this. And what we also want to do is add some grass block directly next to the top of this stone here, and we want to create a hill. The hill is just going to roll all the way down to the ground, just like so. And we might even increase the size of this this hedging area a little bit as well. So we want to have about 3 rows. When we get to this long part of the wall, we'll extend into 3 rows and then just 2. So kind of like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once again, this is kind of like meant to be kind of like rough grassland. You may even want to kind of like curve it down a little bit like this, and not all of it should probably even be kind of like the same. So let's just rough it up a little bit. Let's add a little bit of curvature to the grass. Let's make it look a little bit more interesting rather than just having it all flat. I think that looks pretty good. I don't think, maybe up at the top here we can just add a couple of indentations, just one on the left and right. So something a little bit more rough than we would have had initially. That looks good. And we also have to extend our green terracotta here all the way around and to the edge. And once again, this is just a boundary. So you may or may not want to have this in your build. It kind of completely depends where you are placing this in your world. Like, this might blend in nicely to kind of like into like a valley or a jungly area or a woodland area or like a hill. Like, you may not have to go as far as like creating like a solid boundary like I am, but as we are building this as kind of like a standalone sort of thing, we have to fill all of this in nicely. And we'll just extend the terracotta around. This is about as high as it's going to go. There we go. And we can even just extend the terracotta just across, just like this, so the wall connects to it. And I am just going to shape this a little bit as well. So now that we kind of have like the peak of it, because once again, this is meant to be like organic, right? Like, it wouldn't be the same like all the way around. It's meant to kind of like imitate like bushes or trees. So I'm just taking a couple of chunks out of it. And we also have to add some grass to this area too. So just to the top of this. So where the wall is, yeah, right here in line with this path. And we have boxed ourselves in. I can't actually get out. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's make sure that this all looks good. Okay, that's not bad, but it does have to be a little bit taller. So we do have to make sure that the terracotta is higher than the hill as we build around. So that's, yeah, that doesn't look bad whatsoever. It looks a little bit weird that we've got the stairs here, so I do think that I am just going to get rid of them, and I'm just going to throw some grass on the end. But once again, in the source material, you would be able to move through and past this, but we have nowhere to go, so we're just going to remove that. That is looking pretty good. The one thing you might, and this is only a might, want to do, is add a layer of stone slabs on top of the stone like this. And this makes it so that it's just a little bit taller. Maybe, again, kind of like chunk out some of these so that it's not, it looks a little bit more organic, a little bit less weird, maybe. So something like that. Maybe we don't even have it across the front here. I think that looks pretty good. That looks a little bit more natural. It's a little bit more contrasted. I don't think that's bad at all. And if we are willing to bone meal this area as well, I think that it would look a little bit better. So let's just bone meal this. There we go. I think that'll be very helpful. There we are. Something that we have to take care of is this area here. So I think that the most time-effective thing we could do is just kind of like seal up this entire area using grass. And we can just kind of like curve it around a little bit. So The only problem is like all of the corners that we have in the build. Like it just makes the build look a little bit unnatural. But in the same vein, it's also like the most efficient way to like make... to like fill and make all of these walls and such. But like if we do just alter it ever so slightly, so it looks as though we've made some form of an effort to... There we go. So something like that, I think, looks alright. Yeah, okay, so that's not so bad. So like now we've covered up all of that empty space. I think that looks great. So the house is now structurally sound on our hill. We have done all of the landscaping. So now we are going to place, wherever possible, pots with ferns in them on top of our windowsills. So all available spaces, wherever we can place them, we are going to place them. So on some windows, there's more than others. I don't think that there is any around the back at all. Nope, that's perfect. And on this side of the porch here, we have 2 more plants as well. So we'll have one here, which is just a terracotta with a flowering azalea leaf here. And we will have a decorated part, flower pot, and a flowering azalea inside of it, so just on the side of the house, and this is looking very nice. Last bit of detail for the outside, we are going to make Stitch's flying car. So to begin, somewhere along the driveway here, we will place a smooth quartz stair, and to the left of it, a red nether brick stair. Extend backwards, create a red nether brick block, and then another one. Extend across the back by 2. 1, 2. And then forwards by 1. Place 2 more stair extending forwards, connecting sideways like this. Place glow item frames here with yellow stained glass pane inside. We will then place a polished deep slate stair here. Remove this block, place an upside down stair here. Then place a mangrove fence gate open here towards the front of the vehicle. Red nether brick stair here and here. Upside down ones behind. Item frames here. Red concrete here. And that is pretty much it. That is Stitch's car. With the entire outside of the build complete, we can now head inside and work on the interior. Step 1, we have to add some walls. So wall number 1 is going to extend from this block here. We will place 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white concrete extending left of that block. Leave a gap of 1 and then place a white concrete, which we can also extend forwards by 1. So on top of these blocks, we are going to stack spruce planks just extending all the way up to the ceiling. In this corner here, we can also remove this row of cyan, and we can replace it with an entire row of light blue terracotta just extending all the way up. We also just want to remove all of the cyan concrete in this area as well. As a matter of fact, on this side of the window, we do want to keep this row, but we kind of want to leave these 2 rows untouched. We can stick 2 upside down oak stairs here though, underneath the actual windows themselves. You know what? This is actually a fine time to start decorating the living room. Begin by placing 2 bookshelves here. 1, 2. Next to this, place 2 upside down, back to back oak stairs. Place a jukebox here, flower pot here, pink tulip here. We then want to leave a gap of 1, place 2 spruce planks with black concrete on top. We then want to add a painting to this. This is meant to be a TV, so I suppose you don't need to add a painting, but why not? Then on top of the TV, we want to place levers like this, facing outwards. On this wall, we will place 2 spruce fence and a flipped up spruce trapdoor above it. Green carpet here on the bay window and a pink carpet to the right. Here in this corner, we will place 2 back-to-back dark oak stairs with a smooth quartz stair here, mangrove stair here, and we want a painting in front of the quartz stair. We then want to add a stone button here with a scaffolding to the left, lantern here, leave a gap and place 2 mangrove stair on the ground next to each other with a dark oak trapdoor flipped up left and right. In front of this, 2 rows of lime carpet with yellow carpet either side of the lime. And above these stairs, we leave a gap of 1, and then we place a 1x2 painting above. It doesn't really matter which one, to be quite honest, just make sure you're happy with it. Leave a gap going left, and then place a 1x1 painting with a lever underneath it. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the very cheerful living room complete. I really love this, by the way. I'm very, very happy with how the living room looks. So now, what we can do is we can actually create a little wall here. So we leave a gap of 2 from this white concrete. We place 2 white concrete here, and then we can start building up walls using the spruce planks. And we want to maintain some doorways as well. So I think that the doorways are quite nice, so you can either have the minimum, which is this, or just another row above it. It makes it feel a bit more open with the extra row. And I'd say the same here at the back as well. Actually, no. Yes, no, I don't know. Which is better? Maybe we'll go with the minimum amount of space. We also have to fill in this wall here as well. And this wall here, I think that looks good. In the living room, since we're here now, let's add upside down mangrove stairs underneath the roofline, just like this. This adds a cleaner finish to the living room. And at the very top of the living room, we want to place a set of planks. Let's take a look. Yeah, there we go. That is absolutely perfect. That looks very nice. And now we can move into the kitchen area. So, first thing in the kitchen, we are going to place a cauldron here with an oak trapdoor above it, scaffolding to the right, 2 spruce trapdoors right of the scaffolding, extend them 1 row forwards, and then flip up 2 more spruce trapdoors to meet them. We can then place 2 light blue concrete here in this corner, leave a gap of 1 above and place another 2 light blue concrete, birch buttons in front of the concrete, brewing stand here, flower pot here, 2 smooth stone slabs here extending right of the bottom set of concrete. We then want to place pink banners in front of these slabs and a smooth quartz block here, white concrete here, then spruce trapdoors here, place some different coloured candles on the trapdoors, item frame here, light blue stained glass pane in here, pale oak trapdoor here. Next, we are going to add a white concrete wall here, extending across the back of the room. This will extend all the way up to the ceiling, like so. We want to create a doorway right in the middle of this wall, so we'll just destroy these 2 blocks, stick an oak door here. Then we want to build up this wall using cyan concrete just to flatten that out. Looks far nicer this way. Then we will place some upside down mangrove stairs underneath these stairs, and some here. We will place mangrove planks and or slabs up at the top of the ceiling. Here we go, that looks far nicer. And now we are going to move into this tiny little hallway that we have. So this hallway is going to take us up to Lilo's bedroom. So we will place some oak stairs extending up here, and it's actually a little bit tricky to find our way into the room. Okay, so that was far easier than I thought. So we can literally just have a set of stairs up here, and we'll see if we can. So I don't think it really matters to replace these blocks here. So this one definitely not, this one definitely not, and this one you're never even going to really see this. Like I don't think you'll notice the difference between a white concrete and a pale oak here, but it definitely makes a bit of a difference on the inside. So this is the hallway leading all the way up to this room, and we can even stick an oak door here, and Yeah, I think that a couple of cyan concretes work nicely like this. I think that the stairs here are enough to indicate that there's a room up here, but if you did want to kind of like try and further like draw people up here, if you have a light up here, then it will certainly achieve that effect. And this leads us into Lilo's room. First of all, for the bedroom, we will place a double yellow bed here in this corner with spruce signs at the foot of the bed, preferably with no letters in them. Next to it, an oxidized copper, birch button in front, lantern on top, and surround the lantern with acacia signs. In this corner, smooth quartz slab, warped slab, surround it with spruce trapdoors where possible, just like this. Then, we are going to turn our attention to this corner of the room, where we will place 2 white concrete, just like this, then a jukebox here, loom here, open it up, grey banner, light grey dye, and apply the pale sinister pattern, put black dye in there, and apply the roundel pattern, destroy the loom, then we can place an item frame here, grey banner here, and if you take a look at this from, say, this angle, this kind of looks like an old school camera that Lilo uses to, well, take a bunch of pictures, which we don't have on the wall yet, but Lilo is an amateur photography enthusiast, and this kind of looks like a camera. Next, we are going to place spruce signs here in front of these white concretes, and we also have to remove this amount of the floor. 1, 2, 3, and then we can just start removing all the way up to here. We can place blue concrete in the corners, just like this, and then place orange wool. I said blue concrete, but we're using wool for this, so blue concrete. I said it again! Blue wool in the corners, connect them together like this using orange wool, and then yellow wool in the center. And this is the carpet/rug that is in Lilo's room. We also have to add a roof line in here. So I think that we're going to use some mangrove slabs, and we're going to have kind of like a nice diagonal roof like so. And maybe we'll even kind of like intrude into the window a little bit. So there we go. That just feels a lot bit nicer than what we would have had otherwise. And now we just have a bunch of paintings to add to the walls. So these are meant to represent photographs, which, as I mentioned, Lilo is an enthusiast, it would seem. So we can just add a bunch of these. Varying amounts, as many or as few as you would like. However you think it might look nice. I think that looks pretty good. We can even add a few on this wall as well. So maybe like one here, maybe we'll have like a large portrait here. There we go, that's not looking bad. I mean, we could even add like a singular one here too. I think that looks pretty good. I think that this is Lilo's room complete. And of course, this is Stitch's little bed as well, when he had his little makeshift crate bed. Now we can move on to the final room of the house, which we have to come all the way back down to the living room for. So if we move through this hallway here, directly to the right, we have to break in to our tower here. And we also have to extend the blocks of our tower down into the house. So using mixtures of white and cyan concrete, just like this. And we are just going to place these like this, so just a big tunnel. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So we can walk into this room. We're confronted with this. As a matter of fact, might it look better to have this? That might look a little bit better. And then we can... There we go. I think that looks best. And then we can add a layer of ladders leading all the way up into here. And we're just kind of stuck with this, unfortunately. So it's not perfect, but we can extend all the way up into here. And this is when the house is rebuilt, I do believe. This is now Stitch's room. And there's also like a little bed and jukebox in here and stuff. Well, we are going to place a lime bed here in this corner with a light grey concrete here, birch button here, lantern here, And we will place acacia signs around the lantern. Stick a jukebox here in this corner. Over here, we'll place 2 string and yellow carpet on top, just like this. And that's pretty much all there is to it, I do believe. There's not really much going on. We do also have to break in and out of the room, so we are able to like walk around the perimeter of this. So I'd recommend a pale oak pressure plate for the outside and a mangrove one for the inside. And that is all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, that is the entire tutorial complete, ladies and gentlemen. However, this video is not over. We must now add Lilo and Stitch's beach house into our city. Funnily enough, Mini City does in fact have a small beach, and this is a beach house. I think that there is really only one place that we can put this. We have to make a little bit of room, but I think that this is well worth it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Also, consider becoming a channel member. You will gain access to loyalty badges, some fun emojis, and a monthly download for every single build used in our city. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.